Hi, my name is Kimberly, and welcome to Kimberly's Sandbox. Back in 2015, I decided I was going to figure out a way to be able to liberate my life so that I could travel and feel like I was truly living. And after one hell of a year in 2020, 2021 came, and everything came together.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Kimberly's Sandbox. And if you're joining me for the first time today, welcome. I am doing a part 2 of my series on importing and exporting your dog to Thailand. So if you are interested about the import process, and in that first video, I do have very valuable links for you and some contacts and so forth to assist you with that importing process. So please see part 1 in my series. So today, part 2 is going to be about obtaining your transfer or transit permit, and also about getting your export approval from here in the United States. So once you find out what airline you are flying, I am booked with Singapore Airlines. You do have to go on their site, and you have to do a little research on there and find out what the process will be for obtaining that transit or transfer permit. They actually sent me to a website, and I will include that website somewhere down here for you, where you'll go in and you'll actually apply for a transfer or transit license, I believe it's called. It was only about $50, so it wasn't a big deal, and it really only took about 2 or 3 days of processing to obtain. The website was rather easy to utilize. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to click on the selection for individual license, and then follow the prompts, and then fill out all the detailed information there. Once you do submit, it will go into a processing status. You will get a confirmation number. And if they have any problem with your application, if you need to change anything, I did a few things that were a little bit of wackadoo in there. They emailed me back and just gave me some guidance on how to fix it. If you are computer savvy, I don't think you'll have any problem with kind of maneuvering around that website and taking care of any issue that maybe is still left pending, or something that they want you to fix on your application. So just follow the prompts. It will tell you kind of what to do. And if you need assistance, just email them as well through their customer service area. Not every country is going to allow you to pass through their airport without having that transit or transfer permit. So you must look into your country's details on how to do that, okay? Another thing regarding the transit as well, if your animal is going to be more than 4 hours, and this was per the details of Singapore, more than 4 hours layover, they would actually quarantine the animal, and then you'd receive the animal back at the time of your flight. So our delay is only an hour and a half between flights, so that did not apply for us. So that worked out really well. So she'll just stay with us during that hour and a half time. So what does a transfer or transit permit or license look like from Singapore? It looks essentially kind of like this. Kind of blank, actually, the first couple pages, but you'll get this by email, and then it will list your live animal, and it will, have its microchip number on there, as well as the shipping details of how they're passing through the country. They are going to want your flight information as well, and your final destination address too. So Yeah, rather easy process, a lot easier than getting my import permit to Thailand. That was definitely a process. But again, see part 1 in this series for additional information on how to go about getting that import license. And I have a fantastic person in that first video. I gave you this email contact information. He can help facilitate that whole import process for you if you are nervous about doing it yourself. I did most of it. I just needed somebody, boots on the ground, somebody that spoke Thai language to help facilitate the phone calls, and the communication really kind of moved that permit along because I was really in a time crunch. So the second part of this series today is also obtaining your export approval. So what you have to do is you're going to fill out a very specific form. It kind of looks like this, has this emblem here. And this is issued from the United States, the Veterinary Health Certificate for export of dogs and cats from the United States of America to Thailand. You will find, gosh, I forget now if I got this from, yeah, I did get this from Thailand. I'm pretty sure. I will go back and take a look at my notes because I can't remember now for sure. It might be either from the Thailand embassy or it was from here in the US. I gotta check on that. All right, anyway. So this form, it looks like this. It is a PDF and it will get all, situated with all your animal's information, your address, your ultimate destination address. It gets all typed up and everything. So your vet's going to sign this, and this has to be issued 10 days before your flight. So again, some time constraints there. So keep that in mind. All right. So you'll pick this up from your vet. And what you're going to do is you're going to submit this to the APHIS, Veterinary Health Certificate export. But you'll submit this, and what you're going to want to do is overnight it. Definitely overnight it, especially, if you have time constraints, definitely. If you have a little time, then just do like an express mail or something. But I overnighted it, and I included also FedEx overnight return envelope. Very specific. The return envelope has got to be addressed to you and from you. So the to and from, they will not send it if the to and from are not your home address or wherever you are wanting this document to come back to you. In addition, when you submit this, you actually have to submit the import permit from the country you're going to, the transit permit as well, the animals' vaccinations, all the proof associated with that particular country that you're going to, because remember, every country is going to have its own requirements as far as the types of vaccinations that they want your animal to have. And many of them definitely want rabies. And remember, rabies, that blood result has to be back at a minimum 21 days before your flight. And these vaccinations, actually, if you have to have vaccinations done, they have to be done a minimum 21 days before you depart your country. So, all right. So anyway, I received this back. Gosh, it was like, it took me 2 days the most. It took me 2 days. I got this back and I received it, and what it will include is essentially the United States blessing here that she's approved for exportation. And then there's an embossed seal here. Now this, don't lose this. Don't lose this. Hold on to it. Make copies of it so that you have several copies. But they're going to want the original when you come into Thailand. So make sure you don't get your original mixed up with your copies. Let's see what else. Oh, and when you come into Thailand as well, they're going to want the original vaccination certificate, the original rabies titer report as well with the negative reading on there. They want all the original stuff when you bring your dog into Thailand. So copies will not do. That's per some documentation that I read about importing your animals to Thailand. All right, trying to think of what else I can tell you. Yeah, so what I have done is I have started making like little packets of information, like all her shot records together, the import, the export, and the transit permits, like make that one little packet. So if anybody wants these groupings of information, I can just reach into my folder and pull those out. So yeah, I made her very own little travel folder, and I have everything in there along with additional copies, additional information about her health status. I even have some photos of her just in case, you just never know. I'm just really trying to be as thorough as possible because I don't want any hiccups during this process. I want to make sure everything is all set for her and for me. So I'm not freaking out on this trip about this whole thing because it's been tough enough, honestly, to get this all done. So I just wanted to show you a picture of what the import permit also looks like. And this is it, and it's written all in Thai. I could not get this sucker to print out any better. When they scanned it into me, it was very, very light. But there's again, another fancy signature down there in Thai, the person that prepared this document for me. So that's what that one looks like. But yeah, so I've just been organizing all my paperwork, getting it all together so that everything's in these neat little packets, and I can put them all in the folder and have everything just readily available at my fingertips whenever they want information from me about her. Oh, yeah. So very involved process. I am going to tell you, I'm so stinking glad it's over because this was a major stressor. I have been so stressed over this whole thing. And if I could tell you any advice, start early on the process. So remember, many of these permits or licensures that you do receive, they are good for quite a period of time after they've been issued. Even if your flight's been changed, they're still going to be good for like 30 days. Some of them are good for 60 days. So that's very helpful if there should be some type of delay in your booking, your ability to leave the United States and go on your trip. So with that also, just take note that because you do have these documents staying, valid for that period of time, that does give you the opportunity to start the process a lot sooner. Word of advice today, if you're doing importing, exporting, and obtaining a transit permit through another country, make sure you start, I would say, about 2 months in advance. I can't believe that I actually did it, honestly. When I first started this process, I looked at it and I said, oh my God, am I ever going to be able to get all this done? Somehow it all came together. The only thing now is where my husband and I, we are actually just waiting on our certificate of entry. So my husband applied separately for the certificate of entry, and I actually had the same person doing my visa. It was included in the charge for her to help me with my retirement visa. So that wasn't anything I had to do, but it is relatively an easy process as well. And actually, my husband's going to be putting up a video on doing your own COE. His channel is Almost Retired in Thailand, so check it out so that you can learn a little bit more about that process if you want to save yourself a couple $100 and do it yourself. He and I, we both submitted for our COEs, mine with my own person and him as, individual. He did it all himself. Just needed some specific documents uploaded and the application process done. We essentially did it within 12 hours of each other. And both of us at this point, neither one of us has obtained our COE. And I have contacted my person, Talissa, she's already kind of given them a little nudge just to see if she could get things expedited and moved along quicker. But I don't know if that's going to change anything. So I guess there's like 5,000 people with applications for their certificate of entry right now for Thailand. So we are in that mix, and they're processing those people that are coming in the soonest on the most recent flights. So there are several flights ahead of us. Our flight on July 7th, and they take precedence, so we have to wait. But usually your COE will take 2 to 3 days. I'm actually anticipating probably by Monday we will have ours. I don't believe July 4th is any significant holiday for them, so that should not have any impact on our COE over there in Thailand. Yeah. One thing I did not mention was the cost of this approved export, officially stamped certificate, health certificate. I honestly don't even know, because part of this application process, I had to submit, you could have written a check, and it was going to be like a base of $38, but depending if they have to review your shot records, it could go up as high as $150 to get this all processed and official stamp. So I have to take a look and see what they actually charge me. But I filled out this form, and it had my debit card information and stuff on it, just so that they could go ahead and process me for all of that right away as soon as they received the application. I didn't want to leave it up to chance and say, well, oh yeah, now they do need to review my shot records. That's going to be an extra fee, and now I have to send them another check. I just didn't have time for that. So on the site as well, when you're getting information about this, there is a PDF form that you can download and then fill out with your visa information, with your debit card or whatever. And that's what they do. They process it for you there and send it on back. I was actually expecting there to be more to this export. I thought it was going to get like this special sheet, just like I did when I got the import and the transit permit. And this is all I got, was this document back. This is her official health certificate, which, by the way, with your veterinarian will probably run you about $175. But yeah, when I got this back, this is all I got, was this signature and official stamp, embossed stamp. So you can feel it raised there. All right. Well, if you guys have any comments, if you have any questions about this process, do feel free to reach out to me in the comments area. I will be glad to assist you and kind of guide you along. Again, it's be prepared. Be very prepared. Now that I've done it, I think I would be so much better at it, especially now that I have the contact names and different people's emails and things. But that first go around, boy, it was beastly. And again, if I can give you any advice, you check out part 1 of this series, and it's going to talk about that process for you. And again, give you those important emails, those important contact names of people that you can resource over in Thailand to help you with this whole process. All right, well, I guess that's it for my video today. And I wish you all the very best in importing, transiting, and exporting your dog or cat to Thailand. And I guess I will catch you next time. All right. Y'all stay happy now. Bye.